everyone. Thank you so much for taking just a few minutes to tune in and hear a little bit of my story. I want to introduce myself. My name is Rebecca Hafner. I have been a coach for 2 years on the 28th of this month, and I have been married for 16 years on the 28th of this month as well. So a couple special anniversaries for me. I have 4 kids of my own. I have a stepson, so my stepson is 25, and my oldest and only girl is 19, and we have a 13-year-old, a 10-year-old, and a 7-year-old. I am a Beachbody coach, and I am a photographer, so I'm busy. And my story is, if I were to think of one word that summed up who I am, it's an overcomer. It's just in my bones to overcome. And taking you back a few years into my story, in 2012, I started having these episodes where I would pass out. Kind of felt like I was having a heart attack, but it didn't hurt. I just couldn't breathe. It was on the right side, so it wasn't, where my heart would be. But I started having these, what the doctors thought were panic attacks. I would completely lose consciousness. I would wake up, either my son would wake me up or my husband once woke me up. And this went on a few times, 3 times, and we would go to the emergency room. They would tell me they thought I was just having a panic attack. They would send me home. They finally took my blood for the first time in 3 times that I had been there. This was the 4th. And pretty quickly they got the results back, and they said that the blood work was showing that I potentially had a blood clot. And that because the pain was in my lung, where I was telling them it was in my chest or my lung, that they needed to do a CAT scan with contrast. And so we did the scan, and I had at least 20 blood clots in my right lung. I was kind of whisked away pretty quickly. I was given blood thinners. They started giving me injections in my stomach with the blood thinners. So it was, obviously really scary. It was a very scary time in my life. But I'm a mom, and I have this amazing husband, and I have these 4 kids that needed me, and I wasn't afraid. I just knew that I had to fix whatever was wrong with me, because I had to get better. It's just plain and simple, I had to get better. So right there in the hospital, they started putting me on blood thinners, and I was hooked up to an EKG for several days. I couldn't even shower without, it had to be covered, and then my husband had to help me take a shower in the hospital. But I was put on all this medication. And I'm going to give you guys a quick glimpse. This box is from Costco. It holds 2 gallons of milk, 2 1-gallon things of milk. This entire thing is filled with prescriptions. I was going to even show you this. These are needles that I had to come home from the hospital. My husband had to inject them into my stomach. I'm going to give you guys a quick glimpse, because this is kind of crazy. This is definitely a part of my story. But look. Sorry, I'm good at doing this. Pretty crazy, right? So to say that I was sick is a little bit of an understatement. And to say that taking all of that stuff it was painful physically, but it was very painfully on me emotionally. It took a toll on our family. I would have days where I couldn't get out of bed. I would cry a lot. I'm really good at overcoming physical pain, but I struggle a lot with what happens to me emotionally. And so I spent about a year kind of fighting these demons that I felt like were overtaking my life and overtaking who I had wanted to become, the dreams that I had for myself and who I was as a wife and who I was as a mother. And health and fitness became a huge part of my recovery, because that was a part that I felt like life was trying to control, and I was trying to get the control back. And so in that part of my recovery, because I was on blood thinners, there was a lot of restrictions that I had with my nutrition, and fight back. I had decided, like, everything that I want to do, I'm going to do. Life is short. Life is precious. My time with my family is a gift, and I'm not going to lay in a bed and be a sick person anymore. It's just not, it wasn't who I was. So when I started my recovery, part of that process was healing myself from the inside, getting off all of these medications. This was a part of my day. This was my schedule. So once I was able to kind of overcome the fear of the pain that I was feeling in my lung, I knew I had to conquer the nutrition aspect of it. I just recently learned of an autoimmune disease that I have, most likely was caused from what happened to my body when I had the blood clots. I was diagnosed with systemic nickel allergy syndrome, and it's not like touching nickel. This isn't nickel, but it's not like when you touch something, it's eating it. So eating nickel. Now, it's weird. Most people have never even heard of it, and I hadn't heard of it, but I can't eat anything that's canned. No canned foods. I can't cook with anything that has nickel in it, so that includes stainless steel. No beans, no legumes, like all this stuff that I was restricted from. I can have cheese, which is great. I can have dairy and protein, and that was about what I was restricted to. And in that time, I started feeling I was really struggling. And so, because I didn't feel like I was getting nourished. And so I started looking for where could I get nourished. And I found, like, the perfect solution for me was to get it in my shake. I couldn't physically eat everything that was going to nourish my body. And so in that, I was able to get my shake and feel amazing and really do the best thing that I possibly could to give myself the best shot of getting the nutrients that I knew my body needed. I am incredibly grateful for what Shakeology has done for my body. Having all of these, right? I mean, the pills that I showed you. Like I told you, for me, that was just as much of a mental battle as anything. And since really finding my way and learning about the nourishment that my body needs and what I need to give myself the fighting chance that I need every single day, I have found that in my shake. And I can't even imagine where I would be without it. I never used to eat breakfast. I don't even know what time of day it would come and I'd be like, oh my gosh, all I've had is coffee today. When you have the kind of allergies that I have to whether it's certain foods or certain chemicals, I can't just run out and grab whatever's the quickest and the easiest. And I needed to know what was being put into my body, and it has to be of the highest standard because of how sensitive my body is to anything that is toxic. And so Shakeology has been such a gift to me and such a gift to my health. And I've really been able to find healing and from the inside, which brings it, to the out. People ask me all the time, how do you get up and do the workouts that you do, or how do you find the strength to fight for another day? And I wish I could say that all of that's behind me, but it's not. It simply isn't. It's a battle that I'm going to fight for the rest of my life. But that's okay. It's what's on my plate, and if I'm strong inside, then I can be strong on the outside. And I'm just so grateful for the opportunity that Beachbody has given me in sharing my story, and it's really given me a voice. And because I know that through that, I've had so many people reach out to me and really just find so much courage and hope in my story and my strength to really overcome. And like I said, if I ever had to summarize the type of, with one word, who I am, I overcome. Overcome is my word. Overcomer, overcoming, because that is my journey and it's who I am. And I've done that because of the opportunity with Beachbody and because of the opportunity that I have been able to give my body with Shakeology. So thanks guys for listening. I hope you learn a ton from the rest of this group, and we're just really, really honored to have you.